Black Ops 6 out of 10. There is no other word in the English dialect that could describe my feelings toward this game any better than apathy.
Apathy is death, worse than death, because at least a rotting corpse feeds the beasts and insects.
What makes this funnier is the phrase they chose to market this game around. The truth lies. Little did we know the biggest lie of them all is them trying to make us think they spent any amount of significant time on this game at all. And I'm serious, it really feels like this game was thrown together with little creative thought or vision put into anything. With an overall bad campaign, a complete dumpster fire of a multiplayer, and a zombies mode that overpromised and underdelivered. Combine all of these together and you have the worst Black Ops game in the entire franchise. But why is it the worst game in the franchise? Well, if I'm gonna tell you, we gotta start with the campaign. Now, would you believe me if I told you that this is one of the most forgettable Call of Duty campaigns I have ever played? And it's kind of sad given that this story kind of starts off strong. Right off the rip, we're granted with a confrontation between these two characters about a failed extraction mission, and we get an instant recap. Our character Case teams up with this dude Marshall and his friend Jane Harrow to extract this scientist dude. I already forgot his name. And then all of a sudden they are hit with an ambush attack from this mysterious group working right under the CIA, the Pantheon. We escape and get surprised by Mr. Russell Adler, where he then pulls out his gun and shoots him, so everything we did was for nothing. This guy had zero importance in the story, and this mission serves no purpose but to set up the villainous organization. Anyway, after the briefing, it's revealed that Adler was captured and both Marshall and Onion are put on leave. And instead of giving up, these two decide to recruit Case, Felix, this chick, and Adler to help them stop Pantheon, which includes another worthless mission to recruit this one chick whose name I still don't remember. And the only thing that comes to mind about this mission is this terrible scene where she makes me surrender to the enemy, lets them monologue for about a minute, and then all of a sudden goes guns blazing. Why have me surrender if you're just gonna go in guns blazing anyway? Like seriously, what the fuck are we doing? The only reasoning for this was just so that we can have an epic chase sequence. That's it. Anyway, then we gotta go break out Adler from the prison that we put him in. And I actually like this mission, especially given that they play fucking snakeskin boots from Shadows of Evil in the background. They've got the classified song! Oh shit! Oh yeah, you guys hear that shit? Time to riz some bitches up. What? No! I wish I didn't choose this one. You look gorgeous. I'm gonna lie. Yeah, I'm gonna lie. We then break him out before Pantheon gets to him first, and we then escape within an inch of our lives. And just like that, we're all some of the most wanted men in the entire world. Fast forward a few missions because this campaign is a massive slog, and we drop in to find the chemical weapon known as the Cradle. This was an American-made chemical weapon that Pantheon stole for a currently unknown purpose. And this mission honestly is the best in the entire campaign. And it's only because it's the most memorable given that it has fucking zombies in it for some reason, because Case is on an acid trip. As if this isn't the most overused plot device in Black Ops history.
Creative writing.
This is where we also learn that Case is some like super soldier test subject made from the Cradle. You know, this would have been really cool if it actually mattered in the plot, but it really doesn't. And this leads me into one of my biggest issues with this campaign, and it's Case, the silent protagonist. This story does not need him at all. He serves zero purpose in the story, and you would think they would develop some sort of relationship between him and the main villain of the story, but they don't at all. And then they expect us to care when they reveal that Jane Harrow, a character with almost no screen time, is the main villain. This reveal that she's the villain falls completely flat because we as the audience don't fucking know this person. And it's also so strange that we have these dialogue choices that influence absolutely nothing in the story, as if our character is supposed to speak but just doesn't for some reason. If anything, Marshall should have been the main character of the story, and there should have been screen time dedicated to developing their relationship so that we actually give a fuck when the twist happens. But no, instead we have these outlandish story decisions that were given zero time or thought put into it. And this leads into us now being handed probably the second worst villain in Call of Duty history. And then right after this, we are thrust right into our 9 millionth spy mission. This one is the best one in the game, but by this point, I was already tired of it. There is next to no mission variety in this campaign. The only ones that are different is the last mission, the one with zombies in it, and then the open world one with Saddam's palace. What the fuck is that? What even is this gun? There's no gun here. What the fuck? What is this? The rest are all stealth missions and they are so slow. I was seriously getting so bored of it. And it doesn't help that it's followed by these terribly developed plot points and characters that are mostly bland and uninteresting. The only one I liked was Marshall and Onion. Everyone else was boring and uninteresting. But anyway, after the casino mission, we found out that the cradle is in Vorkuta. So we go to Vorkuta, do another stealth mission, capture Jane, and then after that, it is followed by some of the stupidest shit in Black Ops history. So we inject Jane with drugs to interrogate her and find out where the cradle is, where we enter her psyche in probably the most whack mission in COD history. I mean, I'm serious. Look at what you're watching right now. What the hell is this?
A childhood memory. Your mother was in danger?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Why do you think you're remembering this now?
Yes.
I've never. I'm getting there.
What kind of sensual ass talk is this?
Grow.
And so yet again, we're stuck using acid as a plot device to try to all of a sudden develop this character that we don't know.
Creative writing.
You expect me to care about her backstory when I, the player, have not developed any relation to her in the slightest. And oh my god, her motivations are so stupid. So her family gets taken out by what she assumed was the CIA taking out the garbage, and she thought it was unjust after all the things her family did for the United States, which we don't know about at all, but whatever. We then learn in the exact same mission that it wasn't Adler and the CIA who killed her family, it was Pantheon who did it. You know, the people she works for, the group who also doesn't have any goals outside of just wanting power for no reason. And even after finding this out, Jane for literally no reason decides to still keep working for Pantheon and enact her evil plan. Now first off, why are you still working for them? You find out they kill your parents, and you decide to still blame the CIA afterward for no reason. You're a fucking idiot, and I feel nothing for you. And second off, your evil plan is ridiculous. Essentially, they want to detonate the cradle in the White House and kill hundreds of thousands of people. They want to do this in hopes that it makes the CIA look weak and in the process get this guy fired so that Jane can replace his position in the CIA. So let me get this straight. Every single action you took in this story, stealing an American chemical weapon in an attempt to kill hundreds of thousands of people, was for a job promotion. I'm sorry, excuse me? This is the stupidest shit I have ever heard. Why not just kill him and take his position? Why murder hundreds of thousands of people just for a raise? Is inflation this bad? What are we doing? And yet again, these actions are motivated by something she herself found out wasn't even true. This character fucking sucks, and the entire plot fucking sucks. And I've seen a lot of people compare her to Menendez, and there is no relation between these two villains at all outside of just the fact that they are motivated by the death of their families. Menendez is so much better, it's not even close. His family's deaths are much more impactful and understandable to us because we are the ones that caused them. American ideals and capitalism are the reason his house was torched and his sister burned alive. Fueling his rage so much, he literally started a cartel business with his dad, just for his dad to be taken out by the CIA as well, which yet again reinforced his anger so much he started selling weapons to Russia, which also led us to taking his eye. And at that point, the only thing he had left was his sister, who literally looks like this, which also yet again led to Woods killing her by throwing a grenade in her bedroom. Our characters, our nation, our ideals are what created Menendez and his cycle of vengeance. That's what makes him interesting and captivating, and also incredibly threatening. He kills Hudson, tricks Woods into killing Mason, turns Woods into a cripple, and literally tortures David as a kid, all because of actions we took, the actions our characters took. Menendez doesn't want to control one small aspect of the system due to shitty character motivations. He wants to eradicate it, to show the world how terrible it is. When we as David see him, when he bombs LA with our own drones, the only thing that he has is his vengeance and anger. He is powerful, smart, cold and calculated. And it also helps that the music in these scenes captivate literally every emotion on display. That softer side we see him show to his sister, that is what we took from him. Everything I just said does not apply to this chick. She's motivated by actions that her own people took against her when she was younger. We have no personal connection with her, and she has no impact at all. She's not smart, cunning, or manipulative. She's a child hungry for power, and she has next to no meaningful impact on us, the world, the story, or really any of these characters.
To those he served, your life means nothing!
The only thing I can really give this campaign is that the environments are absolutely beautiful, the safe house is awesome, and doing the puzzles is fun. I like the progression involved with getting money from safes in each mission, and the fact that Onion gets to kill people in his wheelchair.
Yeah, you're the expert in quiet.
I'm a goddamn onion, Mason. You should know that.
Look at man, Woods wouldn't fucking say that. My Woods would not say that. I'm a goddamn onion, Mason. What the fuck is that? Who the fuck says that?
Outside of that, this campaign blows. Not to mention the only thing this ending does is set up a sequel that absolutely nobody wants. And I pray it doesn't happen. This campaign gets a 4 out of 10 from me. Do better. So with the multiplayer probably wondering, what design approach Treyarch went for this year? Did they add a really cool mode you want to come back for? Or maybe a further evolution in the creative class system? And your answer is... no. I genuinely find it impressive how you can fuck up so poorly at making a multiplayer. First of all, the class system at this point is boring and generic. These special abilities really don't have much of an effect at all, and it leads to a bunch of equipment spam with screen shake being a massive problem. You literally cannot see a thing. And also, why is wildcard a guaranteed slot? The point of a wildcard in a class system like Black Ops 2 is the trade-offs you have to make in order to have a wildcard. This class system is brain dead with no thought behind it, and that is something the multiplayer director confirmed himself. Admitting your system is brain dead and that somehow it's good because of quote-unquote accessibility is embarrassing. I don't understand the logic. Like, I'm serious, it feels like the studio was turning into Infinity Ward with this baffling amount of stubbornness to change anything at all. But instead of what Infinity Ward does, Treyarch makes these changes for quote-unquote accessibility, which makes me question which studio is more fucking stupid at this point. Why do these people think that dumbing absolutely everything down that people love about this series is a good idea? Why is using your brain in a video game a bad thing? Making shit brain dead just makes everybody get bored and go play something else. And it's not even like the normal people at the studio. Did you know that in Modern Warfare 3, Sledgehammer actually wanted to reintroduce Pick 10? Take a guess who said no to that idea. Infinity Ward. These frankly outrageous decisions are being made by the overhead at these studios that think making these modes as similar and accessible as possible is gonna make everybody want to continuously keep playing them. But they don't realize that the issue with that line of thinking is also player retention, so they try to stuff as many things in there as possible for you to grind for, just to milk playtime out of you. This is exactly what I mean when I say that everything in this game is designed for nothing but a grind, not fun. And for God's sakes, who the hell designed the maps in this game? It's either a huge map that heavily encourages camping, or these tiny ass 3-lane maps that are atrocious to play on. There's either too much downtime or no downtime at all. There's no strategy, just pure unfiltered brain rot. Not to mention how visually uninteresting these maps are. The campaign is so beautiful and you would think it would transfer to the multiplayer, but no. Everything looks bland and boring. The only map that stands out and that is actually good is Skyline, but it's been buried in the matchmaking selection so much, I haven't even played this map since launch, and I have Dark Matter for Christ's sakes. The gunplay also blows dick. The TTK is so inconsistent in this game, it had people believing skill-based damage was an actual thing. Additionally, the guns in this game have absolutely no personality. They all feel the same and look the same in all of the classes, and I have no attachment to any of them. Treyarch usually does the best job at this, but in this game, they completely dropped the ball. Thank God none of these are being carried forward into Black Ops 7. Speaking of the guns, the balance is awful. Snipers are the worst they have ever been in this game. The screen shake and visual unclarity makes them so unusable, I have no reason to ever pick them. And the attachments really do not help at all. Some snipers in MW3 had similar issues, but the attachments you earned were actually designed to fix these problems. And it led to sniping in MW3 being the best out of all these modern games. Like, clearly it's not hard to make a good multiplayer because Sledgehammer was able to do it.
In a cave! With
with a bunch of scraps!
Treyarch just has this issue between this game and Cold War with trying to overbalance snipers. You guys already had a nerf to them. It's called Omni Movement. Never before has quickscoping been this clunky and shit. Trying to aim at these people with absolute cranked movement, which by the way, the movement in this game is way too much. People blow past you all the time. Speaking of too much, SPMM has also been turned up to the max. I either get clapped instantly after one good game or I absolutely dominate with little in between. There really just isn't a selling point to this multiplayer. There's not even really any special unique game modes to want to come back to. There hasn't even really been much support or events for this mode either. MW3 did an amazing job at this. The maps were amazing in MW3. There were a ton of unique modes with the obvious standout being Get High. There were a ton of conversion kits and the score streaks were amazing. But with Black Ops 6, there are hardly any positives I can think of. It is truly a disappointment. I also have to mention these terrible skins that are way too much. I usually don't care about wacky skins like this dragon one because it at least fits in the art style of the game. COD isn't a milsim, it's an arcade shooter at the end of the day, so I don't really care. But when you guys release skins that break the entire art style and look like shit, that's when it's too much. On top of some of these being possibly AI generated, the shop in this game is inexcusable, and it's one of the reasons you guys are getting so much backlash right now, and you deserve it. But hey, good news that none of these are being brought to Black Ops 7 either. Let's hope they don't fuck it up. This game has had an overemphasis on updating the shop rather than the actual game itself, and a lot of these issues could have been helped by just making better maps. Live service also gives these developers the chance to actually improve the game a lot, but they just didn't do it. All we got was more garbage and generic weapons we have seen a million times before. But hey, at least Classic Prestige is back. This multiplayer, just like the campaign, gets a 4 out of 10. Now with that said, we gotta talk about zombies. And zombies is the best part of this game. You've got 6 maps, none of which are bad, a ton of content within all these maps like really good boss fights, decent side Easter eggs, and some cool wonder weapons. But just like every other part of this game, it's got flaws. Now first off, the story in this game is hot ass garbage.
Welcome to the party.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Nothing makes any sense, and I felt like I was gambling with every map release, praying for basic shit like an intro cutscene, or just a cutscene with actual dialogue. And it's driven by boring characters that I don't give a shit about, with no real time or effort put into making me care.
I feel nothing. Not the wind on my face, nor the spray of the sea, nor the warmth of a woman's flesh.
The systems in the game dumb down the entire experience, like loadouts, the point system, salvage, rarities, and score streaks. An overindulgence in babying the player with these force pings that just guide you to pack a punch. And these systems and design choices do nothing but unify all the maps into one amalgamation. If you play one map, you've basically played them all, because you progress the same in all. There's no real quest to get the pack-a-punch, no power to turn on, no need to learn the map layout and intricacies for vital perks. You even have a attack map in the game just designed to show you everything. Zombies, just like multiplayer, has integrated systems designed to dilute the mode into its most basic form, because it thinks you, the player, are too stupid to learn anything on your own. To survive against massive hordes of zombies without needing overpowered bullshit just hand it to you without any means of actually earning it. And it's so strange to me that they did this whole marketing push where they stated, "We listen to your feedback."
My ass!
And it's as if they listened to almost everything but the actual main core problems. Even after COD Next, the main complaint wasn't even the map, it was the systems in the game itself. Removing all these limitations on the player, like having no perk limit, the only thing it does is make the game more boring because I never had to work hard to get all the perks. Limitations on the player are a good thing, they are not bad. They are core to game design, because you want to intentionally design things that allow the player to break some of these limitations, but they need to work really hard in order to do so, and it's something these modern developers desperately need to learn. And I don't hate some of the systems like armor, and I have talked in depth about the ones that I do hate a lot, but they need to do these things better. High rounds also suck ass. Zombie scaling damage is the worst thing ever introduced in zombies history, and it's so strange to me because on a surface level, these high rounds are better than Cold War. Why? Because Treyarch realized that limiting what you can use the higher the round you go is a good thing. Not every gun will work, and not every strategy will work. This game just has a problem with one of the things you're limited to using being the thing you use in every map in the game, and it's the mutant injector. I never want to see this thing return in zombies again. It's probably the most broken thing added in zombies history. Remove zombie scaling damage, boss spam, and the mangler injector, and high rounds universally get so much better. When designing high rounds for Black Ops 7, I want the developers to ask themselves, how are we going to make this difficult? And the answer shouldn't be boss spam or zombie scaling damage or even super sprinters now that tac sprint is gone. It should be something like maybe just removing the health cap, because that's the only thing that really worked before. And I gotta mention that no mode suffers worse from online only than zombies. Disconnecting from your match sucks. It has happened to me so often, and it makes no sense in solo play. Or going down because your game lags and turns into stalling simulator, and save files getting deleted in high round runs from disconnecting, or a fucking 15-minute pause timer they have never even bothered to increase throughout the almost 6 seasons of live service for this game. And I don't even understand why there even is a pause timer. The campaign is also online only, but it doesn't have a pause timer. So why does zombies have one? Also, here's another one for you. You know how we were complaining about there not being a stylized HUD for zombies? Well, check this one, because for some reason on God's green earth, campaign got its own stylized HUD before zombies. Are you fucking kidding me? What are the priorities here? And while I've had a lot of fun with Black Ops 6 Zombies, I also had a lot of annoyance with the repetitiveness of the gameplay systems and the weird quality shifts between map content. Like getting all these really cool side Easter eggs in the launch maps, but jack shit in Citadel. And then all of a sudden they're good again in the Tomb. And then all of a sudden they're back to being bad in Shattered Veil. And then now they're good again in the Reckoning. Were these devs playing hot potato with the maps they actually wanted to develop? I don't understand. This game is definitely a step up from Cold War, especially with something like Augments, which I hope returns in Black Ops 7, but it's not the massive leap forward we were expecting it to be. Just a step and nothing more. And for God's sakes, why is so much of the new content in this mode reuse content? Like even some of the side Easter eggs are just things from Modern Warfare Zombies. Like, do you really expect me to get excited about Frost Blast returning for the millionth time? Or Tesla Storm? Or a fucking combat bow? Or depth perception? A lot of the stuff they added in this game that was new was just repurposed content I've already seen. Some of it I think is fine, like the return of Double Tap and Vulture's Aid I think is awesome, just because we haven't seen Double Tap in a fat minute. And the last time we had Vulture's Aid was in Buried over a decade ago. Like that stuff is fine, but like Shatter Blast? Like, why is this here? Speaking of reusing shit, let's talk about the poor enemy variety in this game. The Doppelgas was introduced for the first time in Citadel, and you would think they would keep this enemy only in this map to help it stand out. But somehow, this enemy is more reused than the Amalgams, let me tell you. It is in every single map afterward. All 4 DLC maps have Doppelgas in them. Same with the Vermin, and they were cool in both launch maps, but I'm tired of them. Like, why does Treyarch feel the need to put a million different enemies in every single map? Like, just switch it up. Do Hellhounds instead or something. And speaking of the bosses, I never want to see a Disciple, Amalgamation, or Abomination ever again. Same for the Mangler. I don't understand why Treyarch thought that they needed to put an elite enemy, a special enemy, and a fodder enemy in every single map in this game. Maybe for one map, just don't have a max ammo round, or an elite enemy. Not every single map needs all 3 of these enemy types in it. But no, instead of that, let's throw a bunch of unique and cool shit in the shop, and let players see over the fact that we put more of our creative energy in $20 bundles than the actual game they paid for. And I really wish I had a lot more to say when it comes to zombies this year, but after the life cycle of this game, I'm just tired. I'm exhausted. I've seen all the content offering within this game, and the only things I can really rave about is the boss fights, the augment system, and how many pack abilities there are. And I pray to the dear Lord above that Black Ops 7 has a classic mode, because at the end of the day, the classic systems just did it better in my opinion, and I don't think that's a very controversial thing to say. And it's so strange to me because I have seen Treyarch themselves do something like rarities so much better in the past. Like in MWZ, rarities actually feel like rarities. You can't just buy them with some imaginary currency, you actually have to go out of your way and earn them. Getting a legendary weapon takes a shit ton of work, and it feels really good when you finally get there. You literally have to go to the hardest zone in the game, and it is hard as shit. Like, I just don't understand why they don't do something similar where you have to go out of your way to earn a rarity, like with Sam Trials or a side Easter egg or completing a boss fight. Make me earn the things that I have, not just by killing zombies to get pseudo points. Make it hard for me to get my rarity. Make me learn the layout and the side Easter eggs on the map, just like how MWZ makes me do that. Do BO4's point system at the least. Limit the things I can spawn in with, like BO4. Do the specialist from BO4 instead of the dinky little fleshlight field upgrades. And do a 5 perk limit from IW. Like, these things aren't classic, but they are so much better. Like, I just don't understand the stubbornness when it comes to including things that most of the community feels are downgrades from what we've already had before. And the only reason they are here is for, yet again, accessibility. And I find that to be such a stupid point. Does making a game more accessible for absolutely everybody somehow make it better? As stated on the first page of Helldivers 2, it states a game game for everyone is a game for no one. Diluting what makes a mode special just to try to shove as many people in it as possible is what makes a fan base resent you instead of respect you. Treyarch needs to change these things. And while they might brag about something like Liberty Falls having a massive player count, it was only due to the launch and people grinding out camos. And the moment the Tomb came out, player retention and engagement fell off a cliff. And personally, I don't think it had anything to do with the map itself. The map is arguably better than something like Kino, and that map is loved. The issue is the gameplay mechanic, because this map felt no different than any map that came out before it, because progression is synced between the maps. It's all about points and salvage, not about map interaction. And in all of these maps besides Terminus, all you do is upgrade your rarity with the Arsenal Station, do the shortest Pack-a-Punch quest of all time, Pack-a-Punch with points, and then just buy whatever perks you want. In the older games, progression was different between almost every map. Some maps had a power switch you had to explore to find. Some maps you had generators to turn on. Other maps you had to turn into a literal ghost or ancient creature to power certain parts of the map at a time. And that's just for power. There's also a ton of variety with how Pack-a-Punch is turned on, and the quests always match the theming, aesthetic, and layout of the map. I would arguably like to state that I actually think classic Zombies is more accessible than modern Zombies. Think about it. While yes, the early rounds are more punishing with how many hits you can take, the zombies move and hit much slower to balance things out, which gave the player time to breathe, explore, and learn. While progression had a lot more depth with the quests and turning on power, laying it out things also seemed simpler, because the only things you had to purchase in Classic was double tap and Pack-a-Punch one time to max out your gun, instead of the 4 rarities, 3 Pack-a-Punch tiers, ammo mods, score streaks, double tap, deadshot daiquiri, and 2 armor upgrades you have to buy in modern Zombies. Streamlining the amount of things you had to buy, but making it more difficult to get them felt much more rewarding. And it makes simpler survival maps stand out more, because you don't have to do a quest to have Pack-a-Punch or to turn on power. They are designed to be more simple in comparison to the rest, which makes them more special outside of just being better at camo grinding. So yet again, another massive reason why there was so much hate surrounding Black Ops 7, because if there really isn't any systems changes, then that is not a good thing, at least in my opinion. I also would like to praise the concept of Wonder Weapon skins and Easter egg rewards, but some of these are just straight up ass. Like, really, an operator skin? You know, the thing I can't fucking see unless I play third person mode? One of the worst things I've ever seen in Call of Duty? Like, seriously, who the fuck genuinely plays in third person mode? Like, I just don't understand how you add 2 features that complement each other so well and do next to nothing with it. We got a grand total of only 2 of the maps offering Wonder Weapon skins as Easter egg reward. Instead, if you want the actually good skins, well, you better cough up some dough, chum chum, because all the cool skins are right in the shop, baby. Like, do you see what I mean when I say that the shop in this game is nothing but a gigantic slap in the fucking face to fans across multiplayer and Zombies? Some of these Wonder Weapons don't even have skins. Like, why? Why add a feature that you were going to do next to nothing with? I seriously cannot comprehend how unbelievable some of this shit is. Gobblegums are cool also, but yet again, they tried so hard to make this feature very powerful, but it doesn't really work. Also, now after launch, I gotta deal with constantly seeing Gobblegums on my screen the entire game, because you spawn in with 3 of them for no reason. I would personally like to see a Newton's Cookbook system and classic Gobblegums return. Maybe people would actually use them more if they were infinite, Treyarch. And with that said, I thought I would rank the maps in this game from worst to best. Starting with number 6, Citadel des Morts. This is the most overrated map in the entire game, and I seriously mean that. I'm serious, I must have had the craziest honeymoon phase when this map came out, but I seriously resent it. The swords are lame as hell to use and also incredibly easy to get, which is not a good thing. And the only difference between the swords outside of the reskins is literally just their ultimate ability. And I still find it so fucking stupid how people think the swords don't need another buff when the entire high round strategy on this map is more reliant on fucking decoy grenades and Casimirs instead of the actual wonder weapon on the map. Like, these high rounds are still absolutely insufferable. You either use this clunky, shitty Strat or just spam the Sigma using the Ring of Fire trap. Like, if that doesn't show you how dog shit the wonder weapons in this map are, I don't know what will. Also, this map is absolutely hideous to look at. Inside the castle is fine, but when you step out, it's nothing but fucking brown. This map is anything but gorgeous, and I seriously don't understand why people glaze this atmosphere so much. The Easter egg is fine, it's not bad or anything, but it also really isn't worth my praise. And speaking of an Easter egg, the side Easter eggs on this map are absolutely laughable. I love running around finding fucking rats just to get a crown that does absolutely nothing. Incredible game design. The story on this map is also ass. This map is seriously as much filler as Die Rise always was. I'm serious. I gotta say that the only reason I'd ever want to come back to this map is literally just for the boss fight, because it's really the only thing worth my praise. I guess I also like the fast travels on this map. It's got a decent layout. It's not a bad map, but it's overrated as shit. Like, you know it's bad when you somehow let Forsaken surpass you as a map in any degree at all. And with that, number 5 is gonna be Liberty Balls. This map has really good side Easter eggs, but as everybody already knows, the atmosphere is severely lacking. The story is also completely ass, and there's not even a boss fight. But I will say the layout is actually pretty good. And on top of that, the jet gun is absolutely amazing on this map. The high round strategy is actually really fun, outside of the fact that abominations spawn every 3 rounds for no reason. But I at least have more than just like 2 things to want to come back to within Liberty Falls. And with that, number 4 is gonna be the Tomb. I really like the Tomb, and I mean like a lot. It actually has a really good atmosphere with the best side Easter eggs in the entire game. The Ice Staff is fine, and I'm still sad to this day they patched out the ability to do more damage while holding the Semtex out. And continuing from that, the layout is also really good. The main things that really hold this map back for me is this annoying fuck named Archibalds that won't shut up for a single second, on top of having a Cold War level Easter egg quest, a frankly mid boss fight, and probably the second worst story in the entire game. But at least this map wasn't filler. And number 3 has got to be the Reckoning. I actually do like the atmosphere on this map. This map actually does have new enemies, thank God. It's got pretty good side Easter eggs, a good layout, but a shitter wonder weapon. And some of the worst story I have ever seen in gaming history. I do like the Easter egg a good amount, and I do love the idea of having that option of 2 different boss fights to choose from, even if one of them is a pile of shit. But in my opinion, this map does a lot more good than bad. And I do have a lot of reasons to actually come back to this map. And number 2 has got to be Shattered Veil. I really do think this map is really good. I don't think it stumbles in any single department besides side Easter eggs. It's got a fire story, finally, great wonder weapons, a fantastic Easter egg, decent high rounds, a killer boss fight, and a really good main quest. However, there is one map that is still my number 1 in the entire game, and it's Terminus. First of all, it's got the best atmosphere in the entire game. Additionally, it's one of like 2 maps in this game with an actual good story. The side Easter eggs are actually kinda good, and on top of that, a really good main quest. And also, the best boss fight in the entire game. And God, I cannot understate how much I love the Beam Smasher. It's one of the few new wonder weapons Treyarch actually bothered to make, and it is so good. And it leads to this map being the only map that I seriously love high rounding on. And guess what? It's using a Semtex strategy. But I guess it's only fine on Terminus for some reason. Nice one, community. If there's any map I would seriously want to really come back to and enjoy in every single aspect, it's going to be Terminus. It's without a doubt my favorite map in this game, and it's not even close. It just goes to show that when Treyarch actually tries, they do mostly perform. Which is also why the only thing I'm actually excited for when it comes to Black Ops 7 Zombies is the new map, because I can seriously tell they're trying. I would also like to quickly mention that I'm going to give them praise just for adding grief at all. Even though they fumbled so hard with not even having private matches for it, I seriously hope that grief also comes to Black Ops 7 and they continue to improve on it. I really don't want them to leave this mode in the dust for another decade again. So without hesitation, Black Ops 6 Zombies this year limped its way to the finish line of a 7 out of 10. If you loved Cold War Zombies, you'll love this game. Now let's talk about the extra shit. The customizable HUD is amazing, and I'm happy I get to customize it to what I want and remove a bunch of shit I find to be useless. But I still have a few issues with it, like some things I just can't turn off. Like this stupid fucking card on my screen. I don't need a selfie of the character when they're talking like this is a cheap Chinese mobile game. I can hear them in my ear, and if I don't understand, subtitles already exist. And like I mentioned before, Classic Prestige is back, and thank God, please never go away again. Also, the camo grind is much better. Thank God it's no longer tied to weapon level. And I think that's about it. Overall, this game was very disappointing. It had a lot of promise, but it seriously underdelivered on all fronts. A game shitted out the butthole of Treyarch because of Activision's demand for yearly releases. And it doesn't do much to innovate and push the formula forward. That's why this game is a 6 out of 10. It's forgettable and underwhelming. We all really got hyped up for nothing.
You best start believing in the card cycle, Miss Turner. You're in one.
This game 100% was nothing but filler. And people want to be sold on the next game. Not just told about these slight improvements, people want risks and change. To stop playing it safe and to go all out again. To prioritize fun and innovation rather than a grind and accessibility. But we're just gonna have to wait and see what they have in store for us. And I'm not even gonna talk about Warzone, another dumpster fire. It just sucks because at one point this studio was the fan favorite when it came to Call of Duty. But after this game and Cold War, they really have just lost trust from the fans. I mean, how many times can you really dismiss and screw over your fan base before they eventually leave? And even now, I feel like all of my personal criticisms and other people's as well really haven't been listened to at all. We got one win with Carry Forward, but that's just one. What about the 9 million other problems me and most of the COD fan base really have? Will those be listened to as well? Given modern COD's track record, I'm not really sure. Majority of the fan base says one thing, but their data says another. That's why skill-based matchmaking is still here. Personally, I say that when your fans say something that differs from what the data is showing, then you don't trust the data. Hopefully the people calling the shots at the studios learn this. And unfortunately, we gotta show them the hard way. It's just sad that Black Ops 6 had to pay the price. And with that said, I'd like to thank my members for their continued support on this channel. But anyway, bye.